Now, I believe that with the steering and with the automated campaign creation, e-commerce industry is in the best shape. If you think about gaming, it's really creative dependent. So as soon as AI will be smarter and better with creative adoption, maybe we will see that. If we think about, for example, B2B, it's really about the message. It's really about the pain and the problem in a lot of context. But e-commerce is already really close to just, set it and forget it, right? We have catalogs, we have feed-based ads like on Smartly. So you pretty much upload the feed and the data pricing, everything else will be updated on videos and creatives. So there's really nothing blocking AI to start making more ads and testing those ads for e-commerce. Also, it's quite easy to understand as a concept. If you compare it with a fintech, for example, it's hard to ask AI to make a nice welcome email for a fintech, right? It could be quite generic. You need a lot of context about what's unique about this fintech, what's the problem, who's sitting in front of the screen. We usually don't have this complexity in e-commerce, so we can see the most progression in there, in my opinion. Now, there's the third part of the puzzle, which is where AI, where is the AI with creative and copy? And the answer to this is that yes, AI is actually writing a lot of copy, and we can see that Andreessen Horowitz forecasts, that there will be a moment when it actually goes from prompting to no need for a prompt, which I guess is coming really soon. So instead of just saying, write me a copy for email, like I have a philosophy app, so make it from Marcus Aurelius, you pretty much say, you prompt it once and then it keeps creating you whatever you're needing without the prompt needed. So I guess next year there will be no prompts for marketing. It will just generate and there will be a human in the middle. And there are companies who actually want to put it on autopilot, and there are companies who would like to keep marketer in a loop. So what about the AI with cooperation and comps? Can we get it? Sorry, seems like our Zoom has a time left, but I can finish in 7 minutes. I like the sprint. Yeah, going on. What about the comps? Can it cooperate with the team? What's happening there? Can we put this puzzle together? Well, actually, not yet, but I see a nice adoption in there. So recently, there was an interview with the CEO of Zoom, and he said that they're building replicas that will sit on meetings with you. As always, with those CEOs in public companies, whatever they communicate today will be developed in 9 years. But that's a really nice concept because we have this. If you think about it, we already have AI on our calls. It's listening and it's taking notes. But there are two parts that are really problematic now. Is that it doesn't understand the context of what's being discussed, and it cannot participate yet. So if you think about it, taking notes is already on a really good level. Now imagine those are the communications, not only in a call, but also in Slack, on email. So there's like 80% of discussion, except for maybe offline discussion in the kitchen. So it gets a lot of context. And then over time, it starts to get relationships in between what's being discussed, why some projects being canceled, why something is being invested. And then I believe in the next 5 years, it will start participating and discussing with us on a call. So it will be actually easier to make sure that the communication part, explaining, debating, it's getting there. Maybe it will be even faster than the next 5 years. You can already debate with ChatGPT, use your voice. So I don't feel like a lot of barriers to get a marketeer on a call with you, which is the AI. Now, the fifth part is the budget allocation. As I said, I believe it's in a really good condition at the moment. So let's see. What we have is that our budget allocation on the campaign level is already quite smart. We have CBOs and we have other types of allocations that allow us not to think about the budget at all, but to think about the goal. And there is a feature at Smartly that was built over the last couple of years that actually achieves the following state, the state that we had at Zalando. So the way how it worked is that all of our decisions on where to invest and what to build was always based on Zalando's business model, which is what's the revenue, what's the margin, what's the payback period. And we never fed this information to advertising platforms. It's the information that we know and we don't tell anyone. And then from this, we get a metric called incremental ROI on spend, right? So we know exactly how much we would like to spend on acquisition cost, on retargeting, and everything else. And this information we actually send to the advertising platforms. So they understand the number, but they don't understand the context. And then from this, we get the tools that help you to allocate based on the purchases, conversions, CTR, whatever you have. So I think this will be a significant barrier to break because it's easy to say invest more into something that brings me more purchases, but it's really hard for the system or AI in our case to understand why the budget is like that, why the LTV is like that. And usually it could be because of the warehouse cost or because of our relationship with Adidas or something else. So this one is really, really, really hard to break. Now, the next part is attribution, right? We do a lot of great attribution right now. We have ETL and mapping, and we combine channels. But I think this is not a problem for not even AI, for technology in general. You can overlap spreadsheets with no problem. The problem is this. The problem is that when we are trying to focus on an app strategy, uh, we have 6 sources of truth, right? And those sources are not clean. So the actual work is troubleshooting, it's not analyzing. So when everybody is discussing marketing AI or AI personas, they're thinking about someone who just looks at the dashboard connected to your amplitude or connected to Google Analytics, and you just query or what's the retention for the new users, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, this is easy. The hard part is that can you trust what it will tell you, right? And I believe that this part is the one that it would need to understand. And it's a lot of context as well and troubleshooting needed to actually do that. Next, final part. Where is the goal setting? Well, there is no goal setting, right? We see that this is the biggest barrier that we will see. What we can imagine is that we can train AI based on the, we set the goal because of initiatives, market share, competitor analysis, and all of this, again, is nice in theory, but there is a reality. When the goal is being set in a company and it affects marketing and us, there is also things that it cannot understand and things that not everybody can see even in a company. It's investor relationship with this company, it's executive politics, it's new activities, it's like entry to the new markets. So usually you cannot reverse engineer the company goals just by using logic. And this is why I guess that will be a huge problem. Now, summarizing that, I would like to, in the next 1 minute, I see I have 1 minute, 30 seconds left, to give you one simple thing that I've built personally to make my first AI agent. It's not the smartest yet, but it caters to an interesting use case. So I have created a philosophy app called Alter Ego. It's actually helping you to reflect on your life and understand how philosophy works. And we use synthetic voices of different philosophers. It's quite cool. And we've been building a marketing campaign for us. And we started from those super generic, simple creatives like every other app with the creatives that gave us CTR of less than 1%. And then we've created a deepfake persona of Marcus Aurelius that actually is being trained on the couple of technologies that we've implemented that I will show you today. And it actually greets the users in the email, in the ad, and everybody else. So a few questions that arose. I guess I'll skip them because I will only have 30 seconds, but it's a nice thing. I have a lot of info about compliance on deepfakes if you would be interested. But the final part is that you today can build your first AI agent that will actually greet your customers in the email or in ads if you use the following attributes, right? You can get context to ChatGPT, you can get the voice in 11 Labs or vSpeecher. You can then send it to the tool like Windows to make a video of yourself, for example, greeting your new buyers.